Welcome to Tale Spire, where every tale finds its voice. Are you new here? Subscribe and climb the spire with us. Let's begin. The gunshot cracked through the alley before anyone even saw the body drop. Detective Marcus Kane was already running. Move! Move, he barked, shoving past officers as blue lights painted the wet pavement in violent flashes. Rain slammed against the ground, washing blood into the gutters. A crowd had gathered, whispering, filming, feeding on chaos. Kane ducked under the tape. "Where is he?" he demanded. An officer pointed with a trembling hand. "Back there, victims still warm." Kane moved fast, boots splashing through shallow puddles, breath steady, eyes sharp until he saw the body. He stopped. For the first time in years, Marcus Kane froze. The victim lay twisted against a brick wall, throat carved open with surgical precision. But it wasn't the wound that made Kane's stomach drop. It was the message. Carved deep into the man's chest, clean, deliberate. Kane. A low murmur spread behind him. "What the hell? Is that his name? Detective, you seeing this?" Kane didn't answer. His jaw tightened. His pulse spiked, but his face stayed controlled. Years of discipline held him together. But inside? Something cracked. "Get the coroner," he said quietly. "Already on the way." Kane crouched beside the body. His eyes scanned every detail: angle of the cut, blood spread, position of the limbs. Clean. Controlled. No hesitation marks. "Who found him?" Kane asked. "Local shop owner," the officer replied. "Says he heard shouting, then a gunshot." Kane nodded slowly, though his attention never left the corpse. "I want cameras," he said. "Street, shops, traffic, everything. Lock this place down." "Yes, sir." As the officers scattered, Kane's partner pushed through the tape. "Marcus," she called, her voice tight. "Tell me that's not what I think it is." Kane didn't look up. "Depends what you think it is, Elena." Elena Reyes stepped closer, then stopped cold when she saw the carving. "No." Silence stretched between them. "This isn't random," she whispered. Kane finally stood. "No. It's not. You think it's a message?" "I think," Kane said, eyes dark, "someone wants my attention." Elena studied his face. "You got enemies we should know about?" Kane gave a dry, humorless laugh. "Comes with the badge." But Elena didn't smile. "This feels different." Kane didn't respond. Because it was different. He felt it in his bones. 2 days later, the second body dropped. Same precision. Same brutality. Same message. Kane. This time, the department wasn't whispering. They were watching. "You want to explain this?" The voice came from across a cold metal table. "Internal affairs." Kane sat back in his chair, arms crossed, expression unreadable. "I already did," he said calmly. "Twice." Detective Harold Finch leaned forward. "2 victims. Both marked with your name. Both killed using techniques identical to cases you led." Kane's eyes didn't flinch. "So either I'm being framed." Finch cut him off. "Or you're a lot better at hiding things than we thought." The room went still. Elena, standing in the corner, stepped forward. "That's enough." Finch didn't look at her. "Stay out of this, Reyes." "No," she snapped. "You don't get to do this. Not without real evidence." Finch slid a file across the table. "Then look at it." Elena hesitated, then opened it. Her face changed. "Marcus," she whispered. Kane didn't move. "What is it?" She looked up at him, conflicted. "Your prints." Silence. "They found your fingerprints at the second crime scene," Finch said. Kane's gaze sharpened. "That's impossible." "Is it?" Finch leaned back. "Because the lab says otherwise." Kane stood abruptly, chair scraping loudly. "I was nowhere near that scene." Finch didn't raise his voice. Then how do you explain it? Kane didn't answer. Because for the first time, he didn't have one. The suspension came that night. Badge. Gun. Access, gone. Just like that. Marcus Kane, the department's best detective, was now its prime suspect. You're not seriously accepting this, Elena said, pacing his apartment. Kane stood by the window, staring out at the city. I don't have a choice. Marcus, they're building a case against you. I know. Then fight it. Kane turned slowly. With what? My word? Elena stopped. You have me. Kane's expression softened for a second. That's exactly why you need to stay out of this. Her eyes flashed. Don't do that. Do what? Push me away like I'm just another cop in your way. Kane exhaled, tension creeping into his voice. Elena, this is bigger than you think. Then tell me, she snapped. Silence. Kane hesitated. These killings, he said slowly. They're not just random. No kidding. They're recreations. Elena frowned. Recreations of what? Kane met her eyes. My cases. The room went still. Elaborate, she said. Kane walked to his desk, pulled out a file, and tossed it onto the table. 3 years ago, he said. There was a series of murders. Clean. Surgical. No witnesses, no evidence. Victims had no obvious connection. Elena flipped through the file. I remember this. You caught the guy. Kane's jaw tightened. Yeah. What's his name? Kane didn't answer immediately. Elena, he said finally, we never found the body. She froze. What? The suspect disappeared before trial, Kane said. Officially, case closed. Unofficially, he vanished. Elena looked back at the photos. And you think? I think he's back. And framing you? Kane nodded. Using my own methods. Elena shook her head. That's insane. Is it? Kane said quietly. Because whoever this is, knows things they shouldn't. Elena swallowed. Like what? Kane's voice dropped. Like how I think. That night, Kane didn't sleep. He sat in the dark, files spread around him, piecing together fragments. Victims. Timelines. Patterns. Something was off. Not just the killings. The selection. These aren't random, he muttered. He grabbed a pen, circling names, connecting dots. Then he saw it. A pattern buried beneath the surface. All the victims had crossed paths with that old case. Witnesses. Informants. Loose ends. Kane's pulse quickened. This isn't revenge, he whispered. It's cleanup. A sudden knock at the door shattered the silence. Kane froze. Another knock. Louder. Marcus. Open up. Elena. Kane exhaled, tension easing slightly. He opened the door. She stood there, breathless. You need to see this, she said. What happened? Elena stepped inside, handing him her phone. Security footage. Grainy. Dark. But clear enough. Kane's eyes narrowed as he watched the figure move across the screen. Same height. Same build. Same walk. His grip tightened. No, he whispered. Elena looked at him, shaken. Marcus. The figure turned slightly toward the camera. Just enough. Kane felt the ground shift beneath him. Because the face staring back at him looked exactly like his. Kane rewound the footage, frame by frame. Every movement mirrored his own, every turn precise, almost rehearsed. His mind raced, heartbeat pounding. How could someone study him this closely? How could someone imitate him so perfectly? This isn't just framing me, he muttered. This is personal. Elena's voice trembled. Marcus, whoever this is, they're mocking you. They know you inside out. Kane didn't answer. He was already moving, grabbing his coat, keys, and gun. We need to find him. Now. Elena followed without hesitation. Where? Kane shook his head. I don't know yet. But I know where he'll strike next. The next morning, the third victim was found. Same method. Same message. Kane. Kane arrived at the scene before the other detectives, slipping past the cordon. His eyes scanned the body and surroundings, noticing details that didn't belong, things even seasoned cops would overlook. A subtle indentation in the pavement, a cigarette stub carefully placed, the angle of the knife, all deliberate. Elena appeared behind him. You think he's leaving clues? Kane nodded. Or he's taunting us. Either way, he's confident. For hours, Kane pieced together timelines, tracing every movement, every connection between the victims. Slowly, a horrifying realization took shape. Each victim had been involved in his past cases, some directly, some tangentially. He's cleaning house, Kane said quietly. Any loose ends from my old investigations, he's taking care of them. And he wants me to watch. Elena's hands trembled. We need backup. No, Kane snapped, eyes hard. If the department is watching, we can't risk exposure. He's counting on it. We do this quietly. They moved through the city, following leads, checking surveillance, interviewing people linked to past cases. Each step drew them closer to a name that had been buried for years, a suspect long thought gone, one Kane had investigated personally. But when Kane confronted people who might know, doors slammed in his face, alarms were raised, calls cut off. Someone was always one step ahead. By nightfall, Kane's apartment was a war room. Photos, notes, and timelines covered every wall. He traced lines with string, connecting murders, suspects, locations, and times. His mind raced. Elena approached cautiously. Marcus, maybe you need to step back. Let the police handle it. He turned to her, eyes blazing. And let him frame me completely? No. Not this time. I'll finish this. Hours passed. Kane and Elena tracked the killer to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The rain had returned, slick and heavy, adding to the darkness. Kane motioned for silence as they approached. Shadows moved inside, careful, precise. Ready? Kane whispered. Elena nodded, gripping her gun. Inside, they found evidence of planning, maps, photos of past victims, a wall covered in newspaper clippings, all tied to Kane's old cases. But the room was empty. Suddenly, a voice echoed from the shadows. You came alone. Kane's heart jumped. Who's there? A figure stepped forward. Tall, athletic, and disturbingly familiar. Same posture, same walk. Kane felt his stomach drop. You, Kane said, voice tight. It's you. The figure smiled, cold and deliberate. Hello, Marcus. I've been waiting a long time for this. Kane raised his gun. Step forward. Now. The figure laughed softly. Do you really think you're in control? Elena moved beside Kane, tense. Who are you? I'm someone you let escape, the figure said. Someone you failed to catch. And now. I finish what you started. Kane's mind reeled. All the pieces clicked into place, the precision, the mocking, the knowledge of his methods. It was the suspect from years ago. Alive. Hidden. Watching. Learning. Planning. You survived, all these years? Kane demanded. I've been patient, the killer said, circling them. I've watched. Learned. Perfected the game. And now, it's my turn to decide who lives, and who dies. Elena raised her weapon. Enough games. Drop the knife. The killer's smile widened. I don't need a knife to win. You already lost the moment you let me slip away. Kane's mind raced. He needed a plan. Fast. Any hesitation could cost them everything. The killer lunged, quick and calculated. Kane fired, but the figure rolled, striking with precision, almost anticipating every move. The warehouse became a blur of motion, shots fired, bodies moving, shadows twisting. Kane and Elena barely stayed ahead, but they were being pushed back, cornered. Then Kane noticed something, a pattern. Every movement, every strike, mimicked a past case he had solved. The killer was predictable in his mimicry, bound by the past. "Wait," Kane whispered. "I know this, from the Johnson case." Elena looked at him, confused. "What?" Kane signaled her to follow. Using the killer's predictability, he led the figure into a trap, drawing him near a stack of crates. "Now!" Kane shouted. Elena fired. The killer stumbled but didn't go down. Kane ran forward, tackling him against the crates, disarming him in a violent struggle. They pinned him, breathing hard, soaked in rain and adrenaline. "You think this ends tonight?" the killer hissed. "This is just the beginning." Kane glared. "Not if I have anything to say about it." Sirens wailed in the distance. Backup had arrived. Kane and Elena secured the suspect, breathing heavily, soaked to the bone. As they watched him being led away, Kane felt the weight of what had happened settle on him. "This isn't over," Elena said softly. Kane shook his head. "It's never over." "Not really." But for now, at least, the immediate threat was gone. Elena turned to him. "You okay?" Kane exhaled. "As okay as I can be, considering," he paused, thinking of the bodies, the message, the personal cost. "All of this. Let's go home." They walked through the rain-slicked streets in silence, the city around them slowly waking. Kane knew the truth, the hunt was over for now, but the shadow of what had happened would always follow him. As they approached the precinct, Kane's phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. "You can't hide forever." Kane. Kane's jaw tightened. He looked at Elena. "Looks like the game isn't finished." Elena exhaled sharply. "What now?" "We prepare," Kane said. "And we stay one step ahead. No mistakes this time." He looked at the city skyline, rain dripping from his coat. Somewhere out there, the real threat still lurked, waiting. He tightened his grip on his gun. "And when he comes for the next move," he said quietly, "we'll be ready." Elena glanced at him, eyes narrowed. "You think you can stop him?" Kane didn't answer. He just looked forward, determined. The hunt wasn't over. It never would be. The camera would pull back, city lights flickering, rain pouring, shadows moving unseen. The message was clear, Marcus Kane had survived, but the game of predator and prey was far from finished. Elena nudged him. "And people say detective work isn't dangerous." Kane allowed a small, grim smile. "They have no idea." He looked back at the precinct lights, knowing the night was only temporary. Somewhere, the real killer was plotting, watching. Waiting for the next move. But this time, Kane would be ready. And the city, oblivious, would never know the war waging in its shadows. The night stretched long, rain drumming against the pavement like a warning. Kane couldn't sleep. He sat in his apartment, eyes scanning maps, timelines, photos of the victims, notes scribbled in a frenzy. Every detail mattered, every connection counted. The killer had been meticulous, calculated, and so would he be. Elena entered quietly, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You've been at this for hours," she said softly. "I can't stop," Kane replied, voice tight. "Every time I close my eyes, I see him. I see the victims. I see my own name carved into their flesh." Elena handed him a cup. "You need to eat. You're running on empty." Kane shook his head. "Sleep is for those who can afford to wait." "He won't wait. And neither can we." She sat down beside him. "Marcus, you can't do this alone." "I'm not," he said, giving her a sharp glance. "You're here. And we'll do it together." Her hand brushed his. Small, almost imperceptible, but it grounded him. Kane swallowed, steeling himself. "Tomorrow, we follow the pattern. The next move is coming. And we need to be ready." The following day, Kane and Elena hit the streets at dawn. Each potential target from past cases was cross-checked, each pattern analyzed. Security cameras, cell tower pings, traffic footage, they dissected everything, chasing ghosts, following whispers, piecing together fragments that didn't quite fit. Hours passed. Every lead ended in dead ends or carefully staged distractions. Kane's mind raced, calculating, anticipating. He realized the killer was always one step ahead, but predictable if they could see the pattern. "Elena," Kane muttered, pointing at a series of coordinates and timestamps, "look. Each victim is linked to a previous investigation, yes. But also to locations where I personally supervised operations. He's following my footsteps." Elena frowned. "That's unsettling. He's studying you." "Yes," Kane said grimly. "And using that knowledge against us. But there's a flaw. He's bound by my methods. We can predict him." They traced the pattern to a construction site at the edge of the city, abandoned, echoing with silence. Kane's instincts screamed danger. "Stay close," he whispered. "He's here." Inside, shadows danced under the weak morning light. Kane's eyes scanned the debris, every corner, every shadow, every beam. Then he saw it, footprints, fresh, precise, deliberate. The chase was on. Sudden movement, he darted forward, gun drawn, Elena right behind him. The killer appeared, matching his own movements exactly, anticipating Kane's approach. It was uncanny. Every dodge, every strike mirrored Kane's own style. "You can't catch me," the figure hissed, voice cold. "I know you too well." "I don't need to catch you," Kane replied, voice steady. "I need to trap you." Using his own knowledge of investigative behavior, Kane lured the figure deeper into the building. Each turn, each step, each shadow was part of a premeditated path he knew would corner the killer. Suddenly, the killer lunged. Kane sidestepped, grabbing a metal pipe and swinging, connecting just enough to stagger him. Elena fired a shot that grazed the figure's shoulder, forcing him back. "Stop!" Kane shouted. "It's over." The killer laughed, though it was strained, dangerous. "You think this ends? You're always 2 steps behind." Kane advanced, careful, deliberate. "Maybe. But tonight, I control the steps." The killer froze for a split second, just long enough for Kane to disarm him. A tense struggle followed, muscles straining, breaths coming in harsh gasps. Kane wrestled the knife from the killer's hand and pinned him against a wall. Elena moved to secure the figure, handcuffs snapping shut. The killer's eyes blazed with fury, yet also a hint of respect. You're different from the others," he whispered. "I underestimated you." Kane's grip tightened. "And I won't make the same mistake twice." The precinct buzzed with energy as the suspect was brought in. Cameras flashed, officers whispered, and the tension that had gripped the city for weeks seemed to ease, if only slightly. Kane sat in his office, hands trembling, exhaustion dragging at him, but he allowed himself a brief moment of relief. Elena entered, carrying a small tray of food. "Eat," she said softly. "You've earned it." Kane managed a small nod, taking a bite. The taste was bland, but it grounded him. "Do you think it's truly over?" he asked quietly. Elena shook her head. "I don't know. There's always a chance." She paused, biting her lip. "Someone else is out there, waiting. Or maybe he has allies we don't know about." Kane exhaled, eyes narrowing. "Then we prepare. And we stay ready. No mistakes. Not ever again." Hours later, Kane stood at the window of his office, watching the city lights glimmer in the rain. Somewhere out there, the real mastermind might still be moving unseen, plotting, anticipating. Kane clenched his fists, determination etched into every line of his face. He pulled out his phone and sent a secure message to trusted contacts. "All units on alert. Any pattern, any lead, report immediately. No exceptions." Elena came to stand beside him. "You're obsessed," she said softly, half teasing, half serious. "Obsessed keeps me alive," Kane replied grimly. "Complacency kills." Silence settled between them for a moment, heavy with unspoken fear and resolve. Then Kane turned, determination hard in his gaze. "We take the night shifts. Surveillance, stakeouts. I won't let him get another move in. Not while I'm breathing." Elena nodded, matching his intensity. "We do it together," she said. Kane gave a small, grim smile. Together. Hours passed. Kane sat alone, reviewing old case files, timelines, and patterns. Each detail sharpened his mind, fueling a cautious optimism. He realized the killer's reliance on imitation could be exploited. Every move the killer made was based on Kane's past actions. That was his advantage. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. A message, anonymous. "You can't hide forever. Kane." Kane read it, jaw tightening. The shadow of fear flickered briefly in his chest. But it was replaced quickly by resolve. "Elena," he said into the phone, "get ready. He's making his next move tonight. And this time, we'll be waiting." Outside, the city carried on, unaware of the deadly chess game unfolding within its streets. Rain continued to fall, washing the streets clean, but not erasing the danger lurking in the shadows. Kane leaned back, eyes narrowing, mind focused. The hunter had become the hunted, but the game wasn't over. Not by a long shot. And as the night deepened, Kane's thoughts were clear. No more victims. No more mistakes. He comes next, we strike first. The phone buzzed again. Another text. This time, a location. Kane and Elena exchanged a glance, both understanding the stakes. "Let's move," Kane said. Together, they stepped into the night, ready to face whatever came next, shadows stretching before them, and the city's heartbeat echoing in their veins. This time, Kane would not fail. He wouldn't. Not ever. If you loved this story, hit that like button, comment below what you would have done in his shoes, and don't forget to subscribe for more adventures.